What is a Swede? Part 10.
David's ethnicity is part of who he is, and whether he's proud of it or not doesn't change that fact. In the same way, if a Japanese child is adopted by a Swedish family, the adopted child's Japanese ancestors and ethnicity will always be one less thing in common that physically cannot change whether the individual is proud of it or not. But ethnicity can sometimes get tricky. A practical example of an ethnically tricky situation is, as mentioned earlier, with the elevated suicide rate when children are adopted internationally. For example, in Sweden since 1967, more than 60,000 children were adopted internationally from Thailand, Colombia, and Vietnam, to name a few. Naturally, the Colombian children were ethnically 100% Colombian, but by the passing years became fully raised in Swedish homes and grew up in Sweden. Many of them felt drawn to visit the nation their ancestors were from, but others showed no interest at all. Thus, many of those Colombian children and now adults only know of the Swedish culture that they grew up with. Ethnic nationalists would argue that the international adoptee will always also have a second home that he is welcome to, or a plan B should they need it someday, and thus will never be as committed to Sweden or as Swedish as someone who has no plan B possible. Basically what they mean is that if you're out on a boat and God forbid it starts to sink for some reason, you're gonna be fighting a lot harder to keep that boat afloat if you don't have a lifeboat on board. So despite it seeming cruel, there is some logic to be found there, like an all-in or ride or die position.